In October of 1980, a funky little anthem about a neighborhood in Queens, New York hit #1 on the Billboard R&B charts and stayed there for a month. Recorded earlier that year, Funkin For Jamaica by trumpeter Tom Browne would arguably become the biggest hit of his entire career. That hit was propelled by 3 young, up-and-coming New York musicians that would each go on to become legendary. 20-year-old Marcus Miller on bass guitar, 16-year-old Bernard Wright on keyboards and keyboard bass, and 19-year-old Bobby Broom on guitar.
So 79, I go to school. Lenny comes out with a record, Astral Pirates. Yeah, check out the record, Astral Pirates. It's Lenny White and 29. And I'm looking and it's like, oh man, there's Marcus and there's Donald Blackman. And yeah, I know all these guys, So then another record comes out by Tom Browne with Marcus. Who else? Anybody else on that record that I knew? Nard. So I'm buying these records. I'm at school and I'm going, something's wrong with this picture. I need to go home. And, I need to go to school in New York where I can maybe have some connections and maybe, capitalize on them and get some opportunities to play. So that's what I did. And then wound up shortly thereafter playing in Tom Browne's band.
The track itself has a really loose, kind of party kind of feel to it with lots of space. And the foundation of the song is this funky bass line that's laid down by Nard on the keyboard. That keyboard bass line worked so well that our bass player Marcus Miller decided to play something very un-bass-like against it. In fact, we could even call it a rhythm guitar line. The form of the tune only has 2 sections. The A sections, where the rap happens, are basically just open-ended sections over a C minor tonality, with our acoustic piano and our guitar coming in to comment and fill some space. Go ahead, take it to the cosmos. The magic happens when they switch to the B section. Here, Nard comes in on the Rhodes, playing 8th notes, and dig those changes. Ooh, that's magic. Now we can use a couple of music theory terms to describe that chord. Basically it's a secondary dominant, but we're using a tritone substitution. But the best way to classify it would be as a passing chord. This is a very common technique that you'll hear all over gospel music. Then they start building layers on top of that. First with the piano. Then Marcus comes back in with a new 16th note line on the bass.
We're trying to figure out what to do. So I'm sure it was Marcus that came up with the line. And so he says, come here. So I go into his booth and he says, I'm gonna play this. You play this. Like the harmony part, right? I'm like, okay, bet. Go sit down back in my chair and go, boom, 3, 4, right? That was it.
This is brilliant. So Bobby joins the line. He's harmonizing it up a third. Marcus's line is panned hard left, and Bobby's line is panned hard to the right. Finally, the bass comes back in and the whole thing is just beautiful. The next time you listen to this track, listen to how sparsely the bass plays and yet how it brings everything together with every note that's happening. After that, we put on Tony Smith's amazing vocal on top with that horn line, and what you got is a classic recording that grooves for days.
This tune, you know, it has what, 2 parts or whatever, and you know, boom, boom, boom. The sharp 5 to the 5 to the minor chord. Okay, got it. And then we go bam, bam. There's just a vamp on this one chord. Okay, cool. All right, got it. And then, you know, the rest is cued and make something happen with a rhythm track with that.
Not too long after this record, Marcus Miller joined the Miles Davis Band en route to a legendary career as a bassist, a composer, and a producer. Who hasn't he worked with? Bobby Broom went on to play with the likes of Art Blakey, Sonny Rollins, Stanley Turrentine, and many others, as well as having a sterling solo career, and he's a renowned jazz educator. Bernard Wright recorded his first album as a leader at the age of 17. He had his first top 10 record at the age of 21, and he went on to work with the likes of Wayne Shorter, Cameo, and Miles Davis, among many others. Sadly, he died less than a month ago at the age of 58.
Just his musicianship, his ability on the keyboard and the piano, and what the way that he had absorbed music, not just jazz, like music, the Black music, and just could play so beautifully. You know, there's this running kind of rumor that guitar and piano can't coexist and all. Man, I came up with him, you know, to some extent, and never had any issues with playing with him on any kind of music. You know, we never had to talk about, okay, you play, I play. Just listening and playing together, and he was always supportive and, you know, of what I was trying to do, and just a phenomenal musician.
By the time he turned 30, Bernard Wright had played more music than a lot of us will ever play in a lifetime. Do yourself a favor and check out one of his amazing recordings. Rest in peace, Nard.